Thanks very much, Sahil. And in winding up tonight, I should say Kelvin Spiller is my name. I'm the CEO of the City of Greater Geelong, for those of you whom I haven't met. In winding up the program tonight, the program is about two components, about developing a vision for the next 20 to 30 years for the City of Greater Geelong, and also then looking at and identifying the strategic direction for particularly the social, community and infrastructure requirements that will take us into the future. So tonight has been about the start of our learning journey, as Sahil said before. It's been about sharing information. It's been about opening up our minds to new ideas, new views and new perceptions. It's also been about futures thinking, about different possible future scenarios, and also identifying what some of the used futures might be. So that was a really interesting exercise and thinking about it in a different way, and we've been doing that in the office the last 24 hours or so, just thinking of some of the used futures. And I guess it's also shown us about what makes a city great, or what people think makes a city great, and just thinking about things in a different way. Now, Sahil has mentioned to us tonight that the world is changing, Australia is changing, and of course the region is changing. And we're in transition, as we all know, and there are many transformational changes that are taking place. And a transformational change is when the things that we know will never be the same again. So the Chair of Administrators said in her welcome to you tonight that Geelong has in fact reinvented itself a number of times over the last 175 years. And the history of the region, as I said, has continued for longer than that, a bit longer than that. And we have another opportunity now to reinvent the region. So some of you may have heard about the sigmoid curve. The sigmoid curve is that S-shaped curve that's intrigued people since time began. And the right place to start the second curve is before the first one peters out. So the secret to orderly growth is to start that second curve just before the first one peters out. And we have this opportunity again now. Sahil also identified a quote from Nelson Mandela, which I thought was very present in my mind. It always seems impossible until it is done. So we're in the process at the moment of putting in the building blocks in place for the future, and that's the future of the region. And tonight we've been capturing the information that we've heard from you, and we'll be putting that into themes so that we can in fact share that information with others that we come into contact with over the next 7 or 8 months. So if tonight we've assisted you to just think differently about a number of things, then we will have been successful. Interesting when you look at the sorts of different futures. I mean, just to recap on a couple of them, from a technology hub in Silicon Valley, from a resort city, one focusing on health and wellness, and a place to develop and educate people. Another one was leadership in terms of innovation, governance, strategy and finance. And we saw in a presentation yesterday on the history of Geelong for the last 175 plus years, a number of examples where the Geelong region has been very innovative. And the metaphors are really striking. The metaphors of an industrial, the old one being an industrial agricultural city with a manufacturing base, to a new one which is about a creative lifestyle. Where the old one was described as a botanical garden, and the new one, the bionic garden. And the old one being Sleeping Hollow, which is probably one that most people, in fact, if not everyone in the region would have heard at some stage, to an emerging city. So these are different ways of thinking about our city, and we do appreciate the fact that you've been able to speak up and do that tonight, which has given us all other information to think about. So we intend to keep communicating with you all right throughout the community over the next 6 to 7 months. Our aim is to discuss a variety of issues over this next 6 or 7 months, and we want to get views from all sorts of people from all walks of life. So thank you very much for your interest tonight. Thank you very much for your input tonight, and mostly important, thank you very much for your attendance tonight. So before I just close off, would like Sahil to just present to you just a small gift. Thank you very much for visiting Geelong. And yes, you can open it. And ladies and gentlemen, look, enjoy the remainder of the evening tonight, and safe travelling on your way home. Good night, and thank you very much. Thank you.